Hey everyone, welcome. Let's dive into something that's been making waves everywhere. AI.
Waves is right. And it's not just sci-fi anymore.
Exactly. AI is already changing the game, especially for us in public service.
Sure.
So we're doing a deep dive today into Microsoft Learn's AI adoption framework
It's good.
because, understanding AI, it's
Yeah.
not really a choice anymore for us.
Definitely not.
It's all about finding ways to, better serve the people we work for.
Exactly.
The citizens, right?
Right.
That's the whole point of public service.
Absolutely. And, Microsoft really lays out a strong case for why public servants, all of us, need to be paying attention to AI.
Yeah. So what are some of the big reasons? Why should we care?
Okay, so think about automating all those tedious tasks.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that take up so much time.
The paperwork, the data entry.
Exactly. Streamlining processes, making everything so much more efficient.
Okay, I see the potential there for sure. But how does this actually translate to, like, real-world impact?
Let's say you're working on a program. Maybe it's about improving access to healthcare
Okay.
in underserved communities.
Yeah, I can see that.
AI can help you analyze like mountains of data,
Oh, wow.
demographics, health records, even geographic factors
Wow, that's a lot.
to pinpoint exactly where the needs are greatest.
So we're talking about really targeting our resources,
Exactly.
making sure people are getting what they need when they need it.
Yeah, that's
Instead of just reacting to problems, we can be more proactive.
right. Anticipate the needs and plan accordingly.
I like that.
And that's just one example.
Yeah, about.
The possibilities are really endless.
Okay, so Microsoft talks about two ways to get started with AI: building our own solutions
Yeah.
or buying pre-built ones.
Right.
Break that down for me.
Sure. Think of it like building a house.
Okay.
Building your own AI solution is like constructing a house from scratch.
Oh, okay.
You have control over everything.
Design, features, all of that.
Exactly. But it requires a lot of,
Expertise.
expertise, resources, time.
So that's the PaaS approach they talk about.
Yeah, platforms and infrastructure as a service.
Got it. So it's customizable, but a bigger undertaking.
Yes.
What about buying a solution that's already built?
That's more like buying a prefabricated house.
Okay.
Ready to go, faster, and often more affordable.
So like using software as a service.
Exactly, SaaS. Like Microsoft Copilot. It may not be perfectly tailored to your needs,
Right.
but it can get the job done.
So how do we figure out which path is right for us?
Well, Microsoft actually has these checklists
Oh, helpful.
for startups and for larger organizations to
Okay.
help figure out the best fit.
So what kind of questions are on these checklists?
Things like, what resources do we have available?
Resources, okay.
Budget?
Budget, yeah.
How quickly do we need this implemented?
Right. Timelines are always important.
And how much customization is really necessary?
That makes sense.
It helps weigh the pros and cons.
To make a good decision.
Right.
Okay, so let's say we've decided to go for it, to really embrace AI. What are the essential steps to make this happen?
Microsoft outlines 6 key stages
6 stages.
in their AI adoption framework.
A roadmap, basically.
Exactly. It starts with developing a clear AI strategy.
Strategy first.
Defining your goals, aligning them with your agency's mission.
That makes sense.
Then you move on to creating a detailed AI plan.
So strategy, then plan.
The specifics.
Yeah.
What, how, resources.
Getting into the nitty-gritty.
Right.
Okay, so we've got the strategy and the plan in place. What's next?
Well, if you're building your own solution,
Uh-huh.
the next step is getting AI ready.
AI ready.
Setting up the infrastructure, assembling the team, acquiring the necessary data.
Sounds like a lot of prep work.
It is.
Yeah.
But if you're going with a pre-built solution,
Right.
you can actually skip this step and move on to the next one.
Interesting. And what is that?
Governing AI.
Governing
This is crucial, making sure your AI is used responsibly and ethically.
ethics. Got it.
Establishing clear guidelines, ensuring data privacy, addressing potential biases.
This is about decisions that impact real people's lives.
Absolutely. We have to get this right.
No doubt about it. So how do we actually govern AI? What does that look like in practice?
Think of it like establishing rules of the road.
Rules of the road. Okay.
For your AI, you define what data is okay to use,
Good data. Okay.
what decisions the AI can make,
What it can decide
and what oversight mechanisms are in place.
to ensure transparency.
Transparency and accountability, yes. It's about setting boundaries.
Making sure the AI stays within those boundaries.
All right.
So we've got the strategy, the plan, we're AI ready, and we've set up good governance. What are the last 2 steps on this roadmap?
Next is managing AI.
Managing, okay.
Day-to-day operations,
Keeping things running smoothly.
monitoring your AI systems, tracking their performance, making sure they're working as intended.
Like regular maintenance for a car, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, there's securing AI.
Securing it, of course.
This is all about protecting your systems.
We're protecting them from what?
From cyber attacks, data breaches, vulnerabilities that could compromise sensitive information.
This is people's data we're talking about.
Exactly. So security is absolutely paramount.
I'm glad you emphasized that. We hear so much about the benefits of AI.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy to forget about the risks.
It's a balance, isn't it?
Definitely.
Embracing the potential, but being mindful of the challenges.
Speaking of challenges, I think it's fair to say that adopting AI in public service, it's not always going to be a walk in the park.
Right, it's not.
We're talking about large organizations,
Complex systems.
entrenched procedures.
Yeah,
Change can be slow.
it can be. And there can be resistance to new technologies.
So how do we overcome those hurdles?
It starts with strong leadership,
Leadership, okay.
a willingness to embrace innovation,
To be open to new things,
and a culture of continuous learning.
always learning and growing.
We need to create an environment where people feel comfortable experimenting, even if it means making mistakes along the way.
It's about fostering a growth mindset, right?
Absolutely.
Viewing challenges as opportunities.
Yes. And it's also about collaboration,
Collaborating,
both within and outside of government.
working together.
We can learn from the private sector, from academia, from each other. This isn't a journey we have to take alone.
Collaboration is key. I think that's a great point to transition to our next segment. We've talked about the why, the how, some potential challenges, but what about real-world applications? How is AI already being used to make a difference in public service? We'll explore those exciting developments in part 2, so stay tuned.
Let's get into some of those real-world examples, seeing AI in action.
Yeah, let's see it.
One area that's really interesting is, those AI-powered chatbots?
I've heard of those.
To give citizens quick and easy access to information
Okay, yeah.
and services.
Like instead of having to call and navigate those awful phone menus.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh, the worst.
Right.
We've all been there.
Exactly. But imagine just typing in your question or request
Okay.
and getting an immediate response
From a chatbot.
from an AI assistant. These chatbots can handle all sorts of things.
What kind of things?
Answering FAQs, scheduling appointments, even helping people fill out, those complicated forms.
Wow, that would be a game changer for so many people.
Right.
Especially folks who might not have the time or the know-how to deal with all that bureaucracy.
Absolutely. It's about making government services more accessible.
More user-friendly.
For everyone. And it frees up our time
That's a big one.
to focus on the more complex cases that really need that human touch.
So it's not about replacing human interaction entirely.
No, not at all.
It's more about using AI to, enhance our capabilities.
Right, to provide better service to our citizens.
I like that.
Another area where AI is proving super valuable is data analysis.
Data analysis, okay.
We collect mountains of data in public service.
Oh, yeah?
Everything from crime statistics to traffic patterns to public health records.
A lot of data.
AI can sift through all of it and identify patterns
That we might miss otherwise.
that humans would probably never spot.
Okay, so that's interesting. Give me a concrete example. How can we use those insights to actually make a difference in people's lives?
Sure, let's take public safety, for example.
Okay.
AI can analyze crime data to identify those hotspots.
Hotspots.
Yeah, the areas where crime is more likely to happen,
Okay.
and even predict where it might occur.
Oh, wow.
This allows law enforcement to deploy their resources better.
So they can be more strategic,
Exactly. Focus on prevention
being proactive.
and ultimately make our communities safer.
Instead of just reacting to crime, we can try to get ahead of it.
Precisely. And it's not just crime.
Oh, right. You said all kinds of data?
AI can be used to improve traffic flow,
Really?
optimize public transportation routes,
Interesting.
even predict and prevent disease outbreaks.
Wow. It really feels like we're on the verge of a huge shift
I agree.
in how we approach public service.
It's exciting. But of course, with any new technology, there are always potential risks and challenges.
We can't just ignore those.
We can't.
What are some of the things we need to be careful about?
Well, one concern that often comes up is job displacement.
People worried about losing their jobs to AI.
Yeah, that AI will automate their jobs.
It's a valid concern.
It is. And it's something we need to address proactively.
For sure.
But I think it's important to remember
Okay.
AI is a tool.
A tool. Right.
And
Right.
like any tool, it can be used to enhance human capabilities.
Not to replace them entirely.
Exactly.
So finding the right balance,
Right.
using AI for the repetitive tasks,
And freeing up human workers.
to focus on the more complex and meaningful work.
Yes, exactly. And it also creates opportunities
Opportunities, interesting.
for new jobs in fields related to AI,
I see.
development, implementation, oversight.
So it's not just job losses. It's also about job creation
Right.
and reskilling the workforce for the future.
Absolutely. What are some other potential challenges, that we should be considering?
That's a good question. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, one area that sometimes gets overlooked is accessibility.
Accessibility.
We have to make sure that these AI-powered services are truly accessible to everyone,
I see. Yeah.
regardless of their technical skills or language proficiency or socioeconomic status.
That's a really important point.
We don't want to create a digital divide.
Right, where some people benefit and others get left behind.
Exactly. And we also need to be mindful of potential biases
Biases.
that can creep into AI systems.
How does that happen?
Well, AI algorithms are trained on data, right?
Right.
And if that data reflects existing societal biases,
Okay.
those biases can actually be amplified in the AI's decision-making.
Oh, wow.
So, for example, if a system, let's say it's being used to predict recidivism rates, if it's trained on data that disproportionately includes people of color,
Yeah.
it might actually perpetuate those racial biases in the criminal justice system.
That's a really scary thought.
It's a big concern.
It highlights the need for, really careful consideration,
Careful consideration and oversight.
especially in areas like criminal justice.
Or social welfare.
Absolutely.
We have to make sure AI is being used to promote fairness and equity.
Not to make existing inequalities even worse.
Exactly.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about the human values
And ethical principles.
that guide its development and implementation. I
Right.
love that perspective.
Mhm.
And it brings us to a key question for our listeners.
Yeah.
How can you, as public servants, start to incorporate AI into your work?
Yeah, how can you do it in a way that's both effective and ethical?
Exactly. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'd encourage everyone to, educate yourselves about AI.
Just learn about it.
There are tons of resources online.
Where can people find these resources?
From introductory courses to in-depth articles and reports.
Okay.
Microsoft Learn is a great place to start.
Microsoft Learning, yeah.
But there are many other organizations and initiatives focused on AI education.
So really, it's about building that foundation,
Right.
understanding what AI is,
How it works.
and its potential applications.
Once you have that basic understanding, you can start thinking about how AI could be used to address specific challenges.
The challenges you face in your own work,
Right.
challenge yourself to think outside the box,
Don't be afraid to experiment
to try new things.
with new approaches. And don't be afraid to ask for help.
There are people out there who can help
There are experts who can guide you through this process
of implementing AI.
in a responsible and effective way.
Reach out to your colleagues, connect with people who are already working with AI.
In other agencies, talk to researchers, developers,
Tap into that network.
the growing community of AI practitioners in the public sector.
Collaboration is key. We can learn from each other.
From each other's successes.
And from our mistakes.
And work together to, really harness the power of AI for the benefit of everyone.
For our citizens.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this steps to implement AI, some of those ethical things to think about, and even some real-world examples. But I want to, shift gears a little.
Okay.
Something's been on my mind.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
Well, we talk a lot about AI improving services, making us more efficient.
Right.
But what about the impact on the people we serve? The citizens.
Right. The people at the heart of it all.
Exactly. How do we make sure AI is used to empower them and not to, control them?
That's a great point. It goes back to that idea of human-centered design.
Human-centered design.
Yeah, making sure that these systems, they're designed with people in mind.
With their needs.
Their preferences, their values.
So it's not just about, building fancy technology.
It's about how it's used.
Exactly. How it affects people's lives.
And that means involving citizens in the process.
Well, I like that.
Get their feedback, make sure they're heard.
We can't just assume we know what's best.
Right. Exactly. We need to actually ask them.
And we need to be transparent about how AI is being used, right?
Oh, absolutely.
People deserve to know how decisions are made, especially when it affects them.
Transparency is key. Builds trust.
Trust,
He
yeah,
helps address those concerns people have about AI.
definitely. And it also allows for accountability.
That's accountability for sure.
If people understand how these AI systems work, they can hold us accountable for using them responsibly.
That's right, ethically.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a challenge.
That challenge, okay.
Think about a recent interaction you had with a citizen.
Okay.
Maybe someone who was, struggling with a government program or frustrated with all the red tape.
We've all seen that.
Exactly. Now imagine how AI could make that interaction better.
I see where you're going with this.
Could it have provided more personalized information?
Personalized, okay.
Could it have automated a task, saved them time,
Made things easier.
or connected them with the resources they needed more quickly?
More efficiently.
What if AI could help us bridge that gap,
A gap
between policy and impact?
between good intentions and actually making a difference.
Exactly. That's the real power of AI,
It's huge.
helping us make a real difference in the lives of the people we serve.
It's about creating a better government.
A government that's more responsive,
And more efficient.
more equitable.
That truly serves everyone.
So, to all our listeners out there, embrace the potential of AI, explore those possibilities,
Don't be afraid to try new things.
and use it to make a positive impact on the world.
Make a difference.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI and public service.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.